Today, we are diving into a really powerful mental protocol. It's designed to stop overthinking right in its tracks. It's called the REST method. And you know what? It might just be the instruction manual for your brain that you've been looking for all along. So let me ask you a quick question. You ever find yourself in the shower and out of absolutely nowhere, your brain just decides to replay in painful detail some random conversation you had 5 years ago? Or maybe you're trying to fall asleep, but instead you're mentally rehearsing a meeting for next week for the 10th time. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, then you are in exactly the right place. Okay, let's get one thing straight right off the bat, because this is a huge mindset shift. You've probably told yourself, oh, I'm just a worrier, that's just how I'm wired. But what if that wasn't your identity? What if it's just a specific brain circuit that's kind of stuck in overdrive? That is a total game changer. Because look, changing your personality is, well, it's hard. But retraining a brain circuit, that is something you can absolutely 100% do. And that circuit, it has a name. It's called the default mode network, or DMN for short. The best way to think about it is like your brain's internal storyteller. Its job is to reflect on the past, think about the future, but when it gets overactive, that storyteller turns into this nonstop narrator of worry and rumination. It just won't shut up. So, let's talk about that internal storyteller. We're gonna dive into the science behind that mental treadmill. Because to really get off it for good, you first have to look under the hood and see how the machinery actually works. That right there is the first step to taking back control. To get this, you need to know about the two main players in your head. It's kind of like a tug of war. On one side, you have the DMN, the storyteller, which is all about what's going on inside your head. On the other side, you've got the FPN, the doer, your task-focused network that deals with the outside world. Now, here's the crucial part. They have an inverse relationship. When one is loud, the other is quiet. Overthinking is simply your DMN hogging the microphone. And this is where it gets nasty. This is the vicious cycle. Your DMN, the storyteller, cooks up a negative thought. Then your amygdala, your brain's emotion center, jumps in and slaps a big ol' stress sticker on it. Your brain then sees that stress as a new problem it needs to solve, which, guess what? It kicks the DMN into an even higher gear to try and think its way out of the feeling it just helped create. It's exhausting. That is the mental treadmill. But here is the really good news. You are not powerless here. There is a way to interrupt this loop, and that is where the REST method comes in. Think of it less like advice and more like a neurological kill switch that lets you finally take back control. And let's be super clear about something. The goal here is not to stop thinking. That's impossible. Your brain is gonna think. The goal is to become the one who decides which network, the internal storyteller or the external doer, gets the microphone at any given moment. So here it is, the whole shebang, the REST protocol. It's a simple 4-step sequence: recognize, externalize, schedule, and task switch. This is your playbook for manually flipping the switch from your DMN to your FPN. All right, let's master these 4 steps. We're gonna walk through exactly how to execute this protocol in the real world, starting right now. Step 1 is recognize. This is all about mindfulness. You just have to catch that storyteller in the act. Without any judgment, you just notice the thought and you label it for what it is. Ah, okay, this is my default mode network running one of its loops again. That simple act of naming it pulls you out of the story. You stop being in the thought and you become the observer of it. Step 2, externalize. Worries are like monsters that thrive in the dark, right? They gain all their power by swirling around inside your head. The best way to disarm them is to get them out into the light. Grab a notebook, a piece of paper, anything, and do what's called a thought download. Write down every single thing that's looping around in there. This frees up so much mental space. And you'll find that once the thoughts are on paper, they suddenly seem a lot smaller. Okay, now for step 3. And I'm gonna be honest with you, this is the one that sounds completely bonkers at first, but trust me, it might be the most powerful trick of them all. What if, instead of fighting your worry all day, you actually scheduled an appointment to do it? This is called the worry window. You set aside a specific, limited chunk of time each day, let's say 15 minutes at 5 p.m., that is designated only for worrying. So if a worry pops up at 10 in the morning, you recognize it, maybe you jot it down, and you tell your brain, hey, thanks for the reminder, we'll deal with this at our 5 p.m. meeting. This literally contains the overthinking. And you know what's crazy? You'll find that by the time that appointment finally arrives, most of those worries have totally lost their power. And that brings us to the final step, number 4, task switch. After you've parked your worry until its scheduled appointment, you need to give your brain a new job. This means you have to deliberately engage your doer network, the FPN. And the most effective way to do this is with a task that's really rich in sensory input, something that forces your brain out of its internal world and back into the here and now. And a perfect go-to tool for this is the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. You can do it anywhere. Right where you are, you just name 5 things you can see, then 4 things you can physically feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 you can smell, and finally, 1 thing you can taste. This is such a powerful and immediate way to pull your brain right back into the present and fire up that task-focused FPN. So, let's pull all this together. What does this really mean for you? Well, the big idea here, the main takeaway, is about shifting from being a passenger to finally becoming the driver of your own mind. And this really gets to the heart of it. For years, maybe for your whole life, you may have felt like a passenger, just being taken for a ride by these looping thoughts and anxieties. But you have the steering wheel. The REST method is what gives you the controls to steer your attention exactly where you want it to go. The most important thing to walk away with is this. Overthinking is a pattern. It is not a permanent part of your personality. REST is a skill, and just like any skill, it gets stronger the more you practice. Every single time you use it, you are literally carving new, calmer neural pathways in your brain. You're not broken. You just needed the instruction manual, and now you have it. And that leads me to a final question I want you to think about. Looking at these 4 steps, recognize, externalize, schedule, and task switch, which letter of the REST method do you feel you need the most in your life right now? Hey, if you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to subscribe for more science-backed strategies to help you manage your mind. And definitely let us know your answer to that question in the comments below. We'd really love to hear which step resonates the most with you.